this one. When my father first started this company back in '79, the first customer, I believe it was the Sweeney family. This is the chance to actually wash some of the original trucks that my family helped get cleaned back then. So this is super cool. Thank you for bringing this thing by. You guys are awesome. So what are we doing to this thing? What's going on? You got a lot of salt, you got a lot of junk all over the thing.
Yeah, just whatever you can do, make it nice and, nice and clean.
So this is cool. I'm gonna get a few days alone with this truck, so I'm gonna be able to do a good job. So we're gonna get inside and out, we're gonna get underneath, we'll make it all nice. I'll let you know when it's ready, and you guys can swing back in and I'll surprise you a little bit. Hopefully it'll be an improvement. Great to see you guys.
Thank you. This is great.
We'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
Have a good one, guys. What do you think we need to do to this one?
The salt has to go.
I agree.
What?
You hear that?
Creepy.
What was that?
I don't want to know.
I think the ice is melting off of this thing.
This one will be fun.
This truck is 5 years younger than I am, so I guess I'm pretty old. Just a little crustiness around the edges. My steamer is going to be so useful in this thing. I'm going to play around. I've got some new interior cleaner prototypes to test. So I'm testing performance, how does it foam up, and also I'm testing the scent. I'm trying to figure out what to do with our scents for our interior cleaners, because right now I have green tea and leather scent with my current formula for interior cleaner. And what I don't like about my current cleaner is that it has the oils built in that rejuvenate leather and certain vinyls and stuff like that, but it leaves a residue on glass and screens and stuff like that. And I just, you know, chrome surfaces, there's a lot of that going on in a big rig. So I don't really like that. I want to separate those components. I want to have just a cleaner that leaves things fresh and clean feeling and without any residue whatsoever, and then a separate sort of gel kind of material to use as a protectant. And I think we can build the UV protection into the cleaner aspect still on that one first product, and then the gel would be more to just rejuvenate leathers and vinyls and things like that. So we'll see how that shapes up. We got to do some testing today. We're only going to be using prototype products on this truck to get it clean. I have a lot of interesting ideas for new soaps and new takes on current formulations, and we need to do some testing. So I'm going to be leaning on your feedback a little bit as we develop these. Let me know what you're going to find helpful in my own line. What am I missing? How are we doing here? What would you like to see? What would you like to see improved with current soap? So this is going to be great. So check this out. We got all kinds of goodies in here. The first thing we're going to start off with is interior cleaners. These are my prototypes here for our new interior cleaner, and these are all different scents. So we're going to see, you know, if we like any of them. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use each one of these 11 interior cleaners, some of which are extremely expensive. We're going to find out how they work and get our, you know, baseline of what's really good. And this is all just preference based. This is how I do science, okay? I'm homeschooled, so you got to give me some slack here. This is how I function, man. So we'll start off with these. Now the other stuff that we're going to talk about, different container options, different style bottles, different style triggers. I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. Now on this card is where things get really interesting. These are all-purpose cleaners. So I have a couple of our own prototypes in here. I have a lot of industry standards mixed in, and so we're gonna see what works the best. Iron remover. This is something that I've been finding I need more and more. So we have a couple industry standards and a couple of our own versions for testing. Tire shine. We're going to test some gel form, some silicone free form stuff. Most of this is actually our own, so so that'll be interesting. This is going to be fun. I'm going to be getting into sprayable metal polishes, so this is actually really exciting. This product is almost ready. We just have to choose fragrance and color. We're going to be testing our own blend versus a couple of other industry standards, and we'll just see how it works and, you know, if it does the job or not. Now, here's something fun. So we're going to be testing salt neutralizer as well. This has been a request for so long. Man, we have been, so many people have asked us for a salt neutralizer. Now, our go-to for that is Stars+Stripes, the two-step soaps. Those will remove the salt and it will be neutral. The thing is, it doesn't leave behind any sort of rust inhibition. And I don't think most salt neutralizers do, but that's what you really need. You know, your goal is to prevent rusting. So that's what's cool about our prototype, is that not only will it neutralize the salt, but it will also inhibit the rust. And I have some time lapses to show you on that, to show you, you know, how that works and what it would look like. This is exciting. So these are the raw ingredients in Stars+Stripes gallon jugs. So these little tubs of powder are enough to make a gallon of the super concentrate that we would normally distribute. Now there's a couple perks here by just offering the powder. A gallon of each of our concentrate, if you put 4 gallons into these jugs and then add that concentrate in, you would get our ready to use strength, which is then the right mix to run through a foam cannon if you're just gonna fill the foam cannon and run, or if you're gonna take a normal power washer with a normal pickup tube and just throw the pickup tube into the jug. That's the strength. So what that means is I can take this powder and fill these with water and just dump this powder in. The jug will heat up a little bit, and then boom, you got your finished, ready to use Stars+Stripes touchless soaps. Really streamlined. And all I have to do now is find the right kind of container. I'm working on it. This one's a little too big, but what I need is an opening that fits in the gallon or into the 5-gallon pail, but a shoulder that does not. And that way you can dump it in there and get it in the thing really easily. Right now, these jars that we have are a little too big, so it's really messy getting the powder into the pails. So that's all I have to do is streamline that and design the labels, and then we'll be rocking and rolling. So this is gonna be nice because now, instead of shipping any water, we can reduce the entire possibility of having leaks in the first place, and we can fit more value into one box. So in that format, we can save money. It's not cheaper to make the powder than to make it with the water. But what will be cheaper is the logistics. So I could probably do a case and then throw in a couple of these for free in the interim to make it more of a value. So we'll figure it out, but this is gonna be exciting. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do today. Let's get on to this thing. So the first thing that I do when I am getting into a new market is I bring in all of the most popular or most respected things and get familiar with using them. That's what I have here in these bottles. Now some of these interior cleaners are over $100 a gallon. Now, I took them all and I emptied them out into these standardized bottles with the same sprayer, same bottle, and no label, because I'm a real sucker for a good label. So I don't want that to taint my judgment. And I also don't want this to be a, hey, look at me, my soap brand is better than such and such. That's not what I'm all about. I have a lot of respect for other people in our industry, and I'm not looking to diss anyone. I just want to figure out where do I stand amongst the best options out there. So as far as how I figured that out, these are the solutions that you would find as you Google a product, what comes up first, combined with the recommendations of real actual detailers, so people who know what they're doing. I reached out to a few different really respectable people that I appreciate their work and have a lot of respect for their talents. And I said, what do you use? You know, what's your go-to for interior cleaners? And so I got lists of stuff. I have 11 different standards here that we're going to be playing with just to get that feel of what is it that I like, you know what I mean? And then we can design something here that hopefully we like even more. So that's how I do it. And so today, as we rip through this interior, we'll just be using those and see how we like it, get a feel for them. When we get on to the other side, I'll start playing with some of our own prototypes. This is our new interior cleaner that we're working on. The goal with this one is to just clean and feel fresh. There's not going to be any sort of greasiness to it or rejuvenation properties to it. I just want the surface clean and fresh feeling. So it's all about having a good cleaner mixed with a really nice scent. I've already listed these 1 through 10 as far as how much I like the scent. I took a few notes on first glance when we first smelled them. What did it make us think about? You know, I have soapy cologne here, black ice, fresh, unscented. This reminds me of walking into an Abercrombie, so I wrote that on there. My least favorite was this one. It made me think of Spiral Ham for some reason. I don't want my vehicle smelling like that. Yeah, so basically, you can come up with like a formula that works on a performance level, and then it takes a little time on the scent to figure out what's really good and what's awful. You know, sometimes a scent can smell really good in the fragrance bottle itself on its own, just the oil, and then you mix it with the formula and it turns completely sideways and just becomes atrocious. So it's very important to take your time with the scent. And also you don't want the scent to cause fallout and separation in the product. So there's all kinds of things to look at there. I just got a little bit of stuff to take out of here. You ready to rock and roll?
11 minutes into this video and nothing has happened yet.
Man, how's your glove life, huh? Oh, keys. Gloves and keys. Man. Jesus. Okay.
I like that they don't load up their cab with a lot of junk.
Yeah, I know. That's not very much stuff compared to usual.
I wish they chose me.
Grab a couple things we're gonna need for the detail. We're gonna need a bunch of these. I'll rinse them out in between. And then these are something I think will be helpful. This is something new. Autofiber came out with these roller rags. I don't know, they're like a 250 GSM, 260 GSM, 80-20 polyester polyamide blend. You get 30 sheets per roll, and it breaks down pretty good. You know, between that, some detail brushes, and a couple of these sprays, I think will do pretty good. Industry standards 1 through 4. I'll tell you what, Autofiber's making some strides. They've been doing really well with being innovative, and you know, one thing that I find when I'm traveling in my Jeep is that I usually regret not having microfibers with me, and I don't know, I mean, I could just bring some, but the idea of fitting them on a roll like this just seems pretty neat. That's pretty cool. If you get in real close, you can see the stuff that we're dealing with here. All right, we got some serious grime, and moving in all the seams, all the creases and crevices. They're all looking a little dingy. A lot to work with here. I won't be using my steamer today because that would be cheating. Whoa, smells chemically meets pine or something. Not crazy about it. Let's see how it whips up. This is interior cleaner, right? Yeah, this is the tricky part, you know? So this isn't gonna happen quickly. Yeah, we're breaking down some of that junk, doing some cleaning for me. Some of that nasty hand juice or whatever that is. All right, so this is cleaning good. You know, one thing I'm looking for, when it's dry, do I have a lot of residue left over or any residue left over? And just what does it feel like, you know? Because like an interior cleaner to me should be something that just gets the vehicle back to as close to new as possible and nothing more. I want a very minimal amount of scent, if any scent. I don't want to feel like there's some soap or some residue left over. And I don't really want to see any sort of residue on the glass or on the gauges. I just want it clean. On an interior, you want that confidence that it's not gonna damage anything, you know? So this one's not bad. I would give this cleaner, I mean, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. If you're waiting for like some kind of payoff at the end where I'm like, and this cleaner was this one from such and such, it ain't gonna happen then. I'm not throwing nobody under the bus here. I do think that this particular cleaner was over $100 a gallon though. If I remember correctly, which I probably don't. This particular cleaner shall remain nameless, but was over $100. So it should be pretty good. And what I'm looking for is just stuff to feel clean and not like as if you just threw a bunch of soap at it, you know? It's pretty nice. That's looking pretty good. I like it. You can see on here, we're doing pretty good. We got all that nasty hand juice out of there. You could see what it was and what it is. And it doesn't feel like anything other than just a nice clean steering wheel. I really like that. That's not bad. So this is gonna take a long time. This is not something we can really, like, I'm probably not going to be able to figure out what I really like and which one's my favorite on this particular detail. Over time, we'll figure it out. We'll be using these from here on out on every vehicle, and I'll just kind of slowly find my way to the one I like. So let's do standard number 2 here. Let's go. We got another different one of these. Part of the product design process is going to be sourcing the best trigger sprayers and bottles. Like, this is the style I've been rocking, but I don't know if I like it too much. Oh man, this one smells good. Oh, you know what that smells like? That smells like Fruit Loops. Whoa, look at this thing go. Holy moly. Now that's what I'm talking about for foam. Wow. I think this is another over $100 per gallon cleaner, as I recall. So I would expect that it's pretty good. See that frothing up like that? That Fruit Loop smell has got me going. I like that. Problem is, you know, you end up, if you put a very strong smell on a cleaner like that, not everybody's gonna be a fan of it. So I may love it, but I might alienate 3/4 of an audience with my Fruit Loop scent if I went that road, you know? But man, I do like that. That smell just makes me happy. It feels kind of fresh. I really like the amount of foam that put out. I feel like that's what I'm looking for. That's impressive. Yeah, I like that. And we've got a little bit on the gauges here, and I'm gonna just let that dry. It looks like the original one, the overspray, left a lot of speckles on that. We'll see about this one too. I would absolutely love it if I could figure out a way to have a cleaner, a good interior cleaner that didn't leave a lot of residue on the gauges and on the glass. Man, that annoys the heck out of me. All right, product number 2, I'm giving that like a 9 out of 10. And it worked really good. It did more than the first one. Industry standard number 2, doing pretty good. I like it. Number 3. And let's do the top of the wheel here. This one smells like my aunt, like that perfumey, like kind of old lady kind of smell. I'm not a big fan of that. Let me know what you guys like as far as scents. I would really benefit from knowing what you guys want specifically. Like, do you want like a black ice kind of thing going on? Do you want new car smell going on? Do you want like a very minimal thing kind of? Because I'm leaning towards minimal. I just want something to clean and be like it was never even there. I don't really want to commit to a big strong smell, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, this one cleans pretty good. If you put it against some stuff that has some resistance, it'll foam up a little bit, looks like. Foam's looking pretty dirty. This one, 7 out of 10. So my process is not super scientific. I mean, I'm just a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. And I want to wrap my head around it. You know, I want to get a feel for what I like. And then once we get to a certain point with this, we'll start sending out like samples to people who are curious. You know, anybody who wants to know or wants to be a sort of beta tester, just reach out to me or my team on orders@Chem-X.com and let us know you'd like to be a beta tester. Because I need feedback. I'm not looking for positive feedback. I'm looking for really critical feedback. Because that's what we need. That's the only way we can get better, is by making it all about the constructive criticism. That's how I've gotten this far so far. Let's try number 4. I don't know what that smells like, but it's good. Not too intrusive smelling. That's kind of, I like that. I like something very mild. See how it whips up. Oh yeah, that froths nicely. So I'll tell you what brands I did bring in. We just don't know which one's which, all right? I have an interior cleaner from G-Technic in here. I have an interior cleaner from Kosh Chemie, McKee's, Veros, I think was one of the names. We have some stuff from Shine Supply in here. These are pretty good brands. I would benefit from knowing what you think is the best interior cleaner. Let me know in the comments down below. What's your preference? What's your go-to? Because I'm just looking to figure out what's the ultimate best cleaner on the market for an interior. And I'm sure that there's some preference involved. Personal preference is always a thing, you know, and it boils down to it. If you like a smell of a product, you're going to gravitate toward that one. That's kind of a given that, you know, it's going to be hard not to have some bias. I'm a sucker for a really good label. So I might believe in a product more based off label. And that's why I wanted to take these products out of their bottles and remove all of the other factors so that we can just kind of think about the liquid itself and how much we like it. All right, so that's one heck of a clean steering wheel. I mean, all those cleaners worked really good. You know, I may want to bust out my steamer just for the heck of it at a certain point, just because it's going to help me get into some of these areas a little bit better. Industry standard number 5. Boy, what does that smell like? Oh my God, it's so wet. Okay, maybe that's probably because I had water in my brush. This stuff seems very light. Like it doesn't feel like it's doing a whole lot. So my challenge is to find the formula that froths up really nice, cleans really well, and leaves no trace behind, right? That's what I'm looking for. I don't know how to describe the smell of this one, but it's mild and I like that. This one seemed to do a nice job on the gauge here. So this is a tough surface to determine like how well we're doing because it's aged and certain things are kind of a little discolored over the years, and it's hard to tell what I've gotten clean and what just has nothing left to be cleaned, you know. Standard number 5, I mean, I give that a 6 out of 10. I don't know why. I feel like as it's drying, it's leaving a little bit of residue here, but not bad. It's pretty good as far as what I like to see, I guess. I think the smell has a lot to do with it, you know, like industry standard number 5 was pretty good. I'm gonna keep playing with this over time. I'm gonna need to do bigger areas. You know, there's also many different types of cleaning that can go on inside of an interior. And so it's gonna take me more than just this one to get this straight. Interior standard 6, I actually know which one this is because there's none left of it. I loved this stuff. I'll just tell you right now and cheat a little bit. This one belongs to Ammo NYC. This is lather from Larry down there at Ammo NYC. Now this stuff is fantastic. It smells like an Italian cookie. And man, is that ever a good vibe. What I like about it is that it leaves no trace. This particular one, I will tell you right now, is so far my favorite. And it's just something about the way that it feels when you're using it and after you're done. It leaves no residues behind, and it just feels fresh. Not an overpowering scent at all. When you're done, it just feels like the surface is back to where it should have been in the first place when it was new. That's what I like. You know, this stuff, man. It just whips up just enough and leaves a good vibe behind. That's all there is to it. I'm doing a really horrible job. Okay, I'm getting there. This one's the winner as far as I'm concerned so far. I love watching Larry's channel. I've learned so much from that dude, and it's really clear that he knows what he's doing. Just the level of quality he puts into his products is just unbelievable. And I think for a really good price point too. Dang, man. Once I get something that's like pretty nailed down and is gonna do the job, I think, that's when I start sending stuff around to people to try. And then we keep on improving from there. Once we release something onto the market, that's when we find out that we didn't see this issue or that issue coming. We try and do all the testing we can. It's usually related to like separation after time in the bottle, or, you know, you're gonna end up finding out about 3 to 6 months in what the real problems are. And then you can address those, you know, you handle it, you make it right with anybody who had any issues, and then the product is better off for it. I'm noticing on this part of the wheel here, that there's still some grabbiness where stuff didn't come fully clean. And now I'm coming back in with the this cleaner that I'm using now, and I'm getting it a little better. There's a lot though. There's a lot of cleaning to be done in here. Standard number 7. Whoa, this stuff is milky. Smells, again, like Fruit Loops. Interesting, very interesting, okay. We got a Fruit Loops theme going on in here today. Seems to be cleaning pretty well. Very runny though. I dried out this brush and this is very runny. It's not really whipping up either. I don't really like that. So I guess I'm looking for a product that has a little grip to it, mostly turns into foam and avoids being runny at all costs. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot done on a cleaning level. I feel like I'm just kind of, like I just sprayed it with a bunch of watered down nothing. And yeah, those lights just turned on. What caused that? All right, standard number 8. This one smells very soapy. Whoa, 8's doing what I like on a frothing up level. I like this. The foam makes me feel like something good's happening. Interesting. That came out way better. That's cleaner, and it was easier, and it smelled better, and it frothed up nice. I'm a big fan of that. Industry standard 9. Let's see what we got here. Might have gone a little heavy. Oh my gosh, this smells like coconut. That's nice. Man, I like that. Can we get this stuff to foam though? No foam. Why do I hate that so much? there's literally nothing happening. I don't know, the foam makes me feel like stuff's getting cleaner, like as if it's reaching into areas, which is probably not. In reality, it's probably not actually necessary at all to have foam going on. I mean, it's definitely working, and the smell is really good, but standard number 9 is definitely getting us I mean, that's number 1 scent, first off. Last place on foaming experience and first place on scent. That scent is magical. It didn't get any of this junk out of here though, like this right here. I feel like there's still so much grime on that. Man, standard 10, let's find out about this one. I really like that frothing up effect, you know? This one smells like black ice. I guess I don't really like that smell. Let me know what your guys' favorite scent is. Do you think I should have a scent, or do you think I should not have a scent? Like, 'cause we could roll in multiple different ways. Right now, my interior cleaner has 3 options: unscented, leather, which is like new car scent, and green tea, which is very unique and been pretty popular. But I don't really want to offer different scents and have to make different batches of the same thing. I just want something that smells nice and doesn't turn anybody off and just gets the job done, you know? Let me know what you think that is, and we'll look for some sort of general consensus in the comments section. This is where an air blower comes in really handy. I'm just blowing that foam right on in there. This vent has survived like 35 years before I came along, you know? Yeah, maybe we'll come back with the steamer anyway, just to get it real nice, you know? All right, that leaves us with one more to test. That's number 11. Let's hit this little cluster over here in the corner. It worries me that these lights came on. I didn't touch anything and the lights came on, and now I'm stressed. Oh, that's what it was. That one, okay. It's kind of a new car smell meets like chemical. Ooh. Oh, that's some foam for you right there. Holy moly. Yeah, I like that. I'm a real sucker for foam. I really feel like it may be psychological, but it just makes me feel like something good's happening. And that's what I like. I like to feel good about things. The foaming bubbles just make me feel like the edges are getting cleaner. Actually, my current interior cleaner is pretty foamy, and I do like that about the current one, but I feel like there's room for improvement. All right. But as it's drying, I'm seeing a lot of residue still on the surface. I don't know how clean we actually got it. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of residue on the gauges, which is nice. These 3 were my favorite ones. The second one, which had the Fruit Loops thing going on, this one foamed up really well. Number 8, I forget which one this was. I didn't care for the smell, but I think I liked what it did. And then number 9, didn't foam, didn't work, but smelled so good not doing anything, you know? I think the second one hits it though. That's the one that probably performed the best. Now let's turn our attention over to these scented prototypes from our own lab here and just see what they do for us. I imagine that these are gonna be the absolute worst of all that we've tried so far, because all of these are very good interior cleaners. We're just kind of starting from scratch here, trying to invent a new thing. It's going to suck right off the bat, so we'll just see how bad. So my chemist will make these all up for us, and I literally don't know what the names of these scents are, so like that's kind of a head start for me so that I can just go into it blind with no expectations. And this one just smells horrible, so I gave this a 1 out of 10. As far as like, that one was 1 out of 10 in a bad way. Okay. Sample D. I wrote caramel ice cream on this one. It's good, but it's overpowering. It's pretty good. It's funny, I only gave it a 2 out of 10. I think I took a general consensus from my team. This one has baby powder vibes, and I don't know. I'm not digging it. This one I gave a 9 out of 10. Now this one's like a pine scent, and I don't think I'd give it a 9 out of 10 again. This one's like overpoweringly piney. So we're gonna leave that probably around baby powder there. This is really non-scientific. This is all just preference. Sample H, your aunt. That's definitely the smell I'm getting out of this. That really strong perfume kind of thing going on. I'm gonna put that even before the pine, that's no good. So right now I have these in order, right? So worst to getting better. Soapy cologne is what I wrote on this. I just don't like it. Sample B is black ice meets little trees. We gave it an 8 out of 10. Fresh, we gave 10 out of 10. So it's not bad. I mean, I definitely like that. Abercrombie. meets like furniture store. I don't know, it's not great. And then we have unscented. So it's just interior cleaner with UV protection, bare bones, right? All right, let's see what we got here. Unscented wins, definitely smells the best. Huh. This one reminds me of the Ammo NYC smell, which is, I'm sure they have a scent in there, but maybe not. Maybe it's just the chemical makeup. Unscented it is. We're gonna use this one for our tests. So welcome to my day-to-day. You know, this is what I do. Fiddle around and stumble my way through, not knowing what I'm doing and just doing my best at it. Unscented takes it. And you know, we can cut some cost because like fragrance actually is really expensive. It can make up the bulk of a product's price. And so if we can get away with not adding any and liking that even more, then we can cut the overall cost of this product down. I don't know, let's roll with unscented and see how it goes. Heck, let's get in here a little bit. Let's start getting some of this stuff so that we can clean up. There's like a bunch of junk on here. It's not really taking that off. You know what? Let's try it with my existing interior cleaner real quick. So yeah, this is my current one in green tea scent actually. So let's see what we got. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's much better. See, I like the foam. I like what I'm seeing here. It's doing a much better job at taking off that junk. Okay. All right, so generation 1, or well, this is probably not generation 1. We've been through a few iterations already on this just to try and start making progress. I'm not really feeling it. It's not really working. You guys know how much I'm leaning towards foamy things, right? And this is just not. I can't get this stuff to whip up no matter what I do. I mean, for contrast, look at my current stuff and how I can just whip this up into a nice like shaving cream almost, you know? So my first attempt at improving my interior cleaner is a bust. But you gotta start somewhere, you know? We're really foam challenged over here. I don't know what it is about our team, but we just really struggle to make good foamy products. Some of them are a home run, like this one works out really good. We're really good foam on our heavy duty degreaser and APC. We're really good on our M-Shine aluminum cleaner. The Stars pre-soak is really good, but like the Stripes neutralizer is not very good foam. Snake oil is atrociously bad. Our Liquid X is a really good foam. I can't seem to get our foam quality up on Snake oil and Stripes. So, I mean, I've even got some prototypes in here with different surfactants to try and see if we can make Snake oil foamier. Same thing with Stripes. We got some new stuff in there to try and make that foamier. I've done a little bit of playing around with this, and the powdered version does foam a lot better, which is strange. Like my chemist doesn't even know what's going on there. I mean, for me to not know what's going on is one thing, because I'm an idiot. But man, even my chemist couldn't figure it out. Why is the powdered version doing so much better than the watered version, you know, and being used at the same strength? Doesn't make any sense. It's very strange. Let's try Fruit Loops again here. I'm gonna get some overspray on the glass just to see if it's as ugly as what I'm used to. Fruit Loops coming right up. See how nice that foam is? Look at that foam. That's what I want. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. So my current interior cleaner whips up kind of like this, but not quite as nice. And this is one of those cleaners that's 130 a gallon or something like that. Maybe you get what you pay for, I don't know. Certainly seems to be the case. Let's see what the glass looks like up there once it dries. We're gonna have to go back to the drawing board here and we're gonna make that a better foam somehow. We will figure it out. But yeah. Starting to dry up there. Looks like it leaves some residue. It may not be reasonable for me to try and make a soap an interior cleaner that doesn't leave residue on glass, but I'd like to give it a shot. And let me know if you guys know of anything that works well for you that you use now. Let's see how these do here. We got the Fruit Loops. We got my stuff actually. Let's try the standard number 8 again. Oh man, this Fruit Loop stuff is just amazing. Man. Okay, my stuff. Start Certainly not bad, not bad. Oh, this one froths up pretty good too. Okay. Alright. That's a mess. Probably not the best way of testing it. And I'll flip this around. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't learn anything from that. Definitely spent this rag though. I can't really effectively judge how these are working with all that grit in there. We got to get that out first. I actually have an air blaster that I want to test today that's a little bit new. I've been using the Tornado Z014 for a long time. You'll recognize it. It's this thing right here, this little guy. So this has a little vortex thing that spins as the air goes through it. Very useful tool. I use it all the time. I got something new to test. Oh, I got one of these. This is the Rag Company's new blaster. Look at this thing. Now this is exciting, and it's already got the right kind of compressor valve on there, and this comes with a brush and alternative cone. So let's put that on there. This is gonna be a lot of fun. The Rag Company had some videos of them literally driving over this thing in a parking lot and it being fine. So maybe we'll have to do some drive overs ourselves here and find out. This is gonna be nice though. With the brush end, I think we'll be able to agitate a little bit, accomplish just a little bit more. Real nice though. This is like a very nice trigger. I like this thing. This is gonna be good. Let me try it with the other end real quick just to see what that's like. So let's see what happens. Ooh, I like the way this sounds. So this is a whole different design where there's no sort of, like on the Tornado, you get this like sort of little silicone straw thing that flips around inside and this piece holds it together. This one's different where you have a mechanical spinny end. Let's try it with this end real quick. Wow, I really like this thing. This hits a lot better than the Tornado one. We'll see how it holds up over time, I guess, but this thing hits nice and hard. I have a pretty big air compressor. I got a 24 CFM air compressor out back. I feel like this lets a little more air through, which is good. Well, this thing actually allowed us to see how our cleaners did a little bit here. So we have the Fruit Loops over here, we have my stuff right here, and then we have some other mystery thing right here that seems to me like our original, like our cleaner did a really good job in the middle. I feel like there's less junk in the ridges here, just by a hair. That's not a very good test. We'll keep on playing with it. Let me try it with that brushy end real quick. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to touch this thing while it's going. Yeah, I don't like the way this sounds with this one on here. But I bet it works really good. Let's see what happens here. Oh my god. Oof. This is two completely different tools, whether you have this brush end on there or the other cone on there. This one you got to get in real close and scrub the surface with it for it to be ideal, and I think it is really helpful. The other one's better for blowing stuff out from a distance and getting some work done overall. Wow. It diffuses over a distance. If this is on there and you're just trying to blow like some of the loose junk out, it just goes away with this one. The other one's better for that distance work. This is still my overall favorite though with this end on it. This is just a really good time-saving tool to get an interior blasted out much faster than like a vacuum would. But I like both of these tools. This is fantastic. I really like what they've done with this thing. Yeah. See, now I can blow this thing out all the way across and right out the other side of the door. Let's use Fruit Loops again over here. See what it does. Man, I guess I really like Fruit Loops. It's making me kind of hungry. Has a certain fresh feeling to it because of that. And this is definitely the best foam. Man, the metal's worn right down on that. This thing has been used since 1989. This thing's been rolling around. Yeah, I feel like this one's cleaning up the stuff that my interior cleaner left behind on here. So we gotta make ours clean better and foam better and smell better. So I'm scrubbing the heck out of this thing, and we still got some stuff left over that none of the interior cleaners are really handling. Just a little bit of stuff in the ribs in here in between. I need to hit it just a little harder. That's just a little crusty around the edges. And that's where the steamer is gonna come in. I mean, like certain things are cleaning up really nice. Like this whole area is doing really well. This is all the Fruit Loops, all right? Fantastic cleaner. That's working really, really well. It still leaves a residue behind on the glass. It's still less than what I'm used to seeing with mine, so I like that. So we're heading in a good direction, at least knowing what we like. But yeah, let's get the steamer on this thing and kind of really take it just a little bit further, and that'll help us get into some of this a little bit, make it a little nicer. Come on out, Chief 155. I mounted this 220 volt reel for this and my hot water machine, the other cold water machine over there, just so I have power wherever I need it. Or if I wanted to do some welding out here, I could easily plug in my welder now, so that's pretty cool. So this is useful. This steamer is one of the best things I ever got for this studio here. This is such a great tool. I love the thing. It's almost addictive cleaning stuff with it. It's so much fun. And it's just like such a good way to get into certain spots and rinse them out just a little bit. I love it. It's like power washing inside the vehicle. I love this. It's so enjoyable. Give this scan grip thing another shot. This thing always dies on me like real quick. All right, so it's 10:55 in the morning. No wait, it's 9:55 in the morning. So we're gonna see how long this thing lasts. I feel like I normally only get like 20 minutes out of this light. It's fully charged. So we got the majority of the junk blown out, wiped out a little bit, but we gotta clean it just a little more. Still looks pretty rough. A little steam, a little rag on there, and a little bit of brushing around, and we should be good to go. This seat has a seat cover on it. Not sure why. Doesn't look too bad under there. Should I clean under there or what? I probably should. All right, which one should we use, Kona? What are you doing over there? You trying to tell me something? Oh, you found my drink.
Your drink? Don't let me outside
Beautiful.
to pee or anything.
You trying to tell me something? Do you need to go out?
Dude.
Let's see how this coconut smelling one does on just cleaning. This is pretty mild cleaning. We can see how that one does. Even though that one doesn't foam up very good, it's still, we gotta see if it cleans good. I've been leaning toward that Fruit Loops one though, standard 2. Got 10 minutes out of it. This thing already auto shut off because it's dying. 10 minutes, man. I'm sure that maybe mine's just a dud. I don't know. All right, so we got to use something else here. Use this one. Try this one out. This one has never let me down. It was a lot cheaper. Man, it's like I can see everywhere I look. Let's try standard 9 again. I like these big curveball brushes for the floors. Good big areas. Man, yeah, this stuff smells so good. Seems like we're able to whip it up a little bit down here. Interesting, yeah. Even though it didn't froth up very much, it cleaned real nice. Once we get something we like as an industry standard, then we can kind of set that bar for ourselves and try and see if we can do a little better. That did clean up pretty nice. That definitely got the job done. I guess foam isn't everything, but I still want that thick shaving cream kind of vibe. Like standard 2 here, Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops, let's go again. Come on, Fruit Loops. Get this thing all lubed up. Oh, I'm a sucker for good foam. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. Fantastic. Man, that's cleaning up real nice too. I'm trying our stuff again here and just kind of continuing to get a feel for it. I cleaned out this brush a little bit. I'm just trying to see if it can be whipped up into a good foam. Trying to still give it a fair shake. It does appear that this stuff can be whipped up pretty good. I mean, it's like not horrible. It's a little hard to judge on these older surfaces too, like how it's working, you know. It seems to be working a little bit better than I recalled on the other side. This isn't actually that dirty. Alright, yeah, it's not bad. Let's see what this interior prototype can do on the other side real quick, because it's still a little bit messy on the driver's side where I worked on last. Not quite clean over here. And you can see that this floor on this side, we didn't really get it. Maybe this will help. It's so funny, I love the unscented one. This actually smells really good. So at least we can, you know, try this out with no fragrance and see how that goes. Certainly cuts cost. Yes, this is whipping up a little better than my first attempt with it. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just this brush for some reason hits a little better. Okay. All right, so we're not doing horrible on our first attempt here. We're getting a little bit better. We'll see how it dries. I just found out we dodged a lawsuit from our mailman. Our mailman popped in the front door and Kona went over to say hi, and I guess he was not a fan of dogs. So our post office called us and was like, hey, we have a guy who wants to sue you here. He's claiming that there's no warning, and we have like a beware of dog thing on the front door. So they saw that and they're like, yeah, you're good, don't worry about it. But I guess he sprained his ankle trying to get away from you, Kona. Don't you feel bad about that, Kona? Come on. You made our mailman run away in fear.
I just wanted to say hi.
You wouldn't know she's so friendly though. When she's running up to you, you know, if you don't know her, I mean, it's probably intimidating. Let's clean up the glass. So these 4 were my go-to. The prototypes weren't horrible, but they need a little bit of work. Fortunately, one of my favorites, I think, was mine. This is the green tea interior cleaner that we currently have. We're doing all right already, but it's funny because I don't really like our new interior cleaner as much as our existing interior cleaner. It's going to take some more effort and some more time. So let's try this out. This is an anti-static glass cleaner, and I think this would be kind of fun because if you have no static on the glass, then any towel should not leave fibers behind. So we're going to try out the roll on a rag with some anti-static glass cleaner and find out. The rag definitely put too much on there. I like this glass cleaner quite a bit so far. Until I clean the outside of this window, it won't look like much. So we'll come back to this and see how we did. Man, I got some junk in here. This thing is custom built. Pretty cool. Man. Stuff definitely isn't frothing up like I want. This is probably not the surface to test interior cleaners on because it's like, you know, it's just older and it's beat up, so it's hard to judge what's happening. I can't quite tell if I'm cleaning it or if it's just worn through, you know, like there's certain spots that are just worn through. It makes it messy looking. We'll keep playing with the interior cleaners over time and we'll get there. Well, we got a little bit of overspray after cleaning the window with our own, and that'll let me at least see what we're dealing with on the glass. But I think I really need to up our cleaning power in ours, and our foaming needs to be more on point, which is gonna be that'll be tricky. It might be a little while before we're ready with this interior cleaner. I mean, it's certainly a decent tune-up for the thing, right? It's not bad. Interior is looking pretty good at this point. I think we're ready to move on to the outside and test some other genres of products. I just got in these. This is kind of neat. Hey. Oh, DJI wireless mic 2. Sweet, look at this little thing. Very cool looking. Got a little windbreaker. Let's try this thing out. So right now I use a shotgun mic. Let's film the rest of this with the DJI mic 2s and see what happens. Hello, can you hear me? How is this? I'm gonna take the other one and stick it right around here somewhere so I get some sounds where my hands are. Trying out something new here. This is weird. I don't normally wear my watch on my right hand. However, now you can hear me like this. So now theoretically we got stereo. We got sound coming from my hand here. So you can probably hear me just the same, I would hope. So we weren't quite able to get this area clean with my prototype. So that's still lame in there. We've actually hit this with a few different things. I'm gonna use my current interior cleaner. So my current interior cleaner has a sort of oiliness to it, which is designed to leave a little bit of protection behind and make things very rejuvenated looking. It's not like greasy, but it's enough to sort of leave a nice sheen behind. I find that it just does really well with floors in general, in big rigs. And it dries to a sort of a matte finish. See how like that looks good? It took that junk out of there. So my current one's not bad. My current option is pretty good actually. I do like our interior cleaner as it is right now, but you know, I still want to address those issues with residue, and because a lot of our customers have like gauge clusters on their, you know, dashboards, and any sort of residue that's left behind by the cleaner just gets all over that stuff. Then you end up chasing things. So I don't want that. Man, cleaned up pretty good in here. So I narrowed it down to 3 products that I liked the most. I think it's just unbiased, you know, I know this one's mine and I like it, I'm used to it, you know. It did get the job done for me. It helped me get some areas cleaner than I was able to get them otherwise. And my prototype is a big loss. We got a lot to work on with our prototype here. I loved the smell of this one, and I think my favorite was Fruit Loops here. I used a lot of that. This stuff, man, I just liked the feeling of it. There's a certain richness to the foam that once you whipped it up, it was just, man, I liked that one a lot. So that's my number 1. That'll be my go-to. I'll still keep playing with the rest of these over time, but so I'm curious to get your thoughts here. So we've got all these different options. So we have the HDPE cylinder, 32 ounce, and this is a chemical resistant trigger. So this is one layout that I could roll with. HDPE is better for stronger alkalins, like my heavy duty. We keep that in here. So it just is a little more durable than the PET material. These are an option for a bottle. This is called a Cosmo style bottle. The Cosmo is nice because it's a little taller than my usual bottle and a little narrower, so it's a little bit easier to grab, I think. I might roll with these Cosmo style bottles for my next version of my line. These 4 are all the same bottle, but with different triggers. We have that style, we have that style, this style, that. These are just different kind of colors, basically. And then this style going on to a Boston Round. Now the Boston Round is my normal go-to right now. This is what you would see my interior cleaner in, or the Snake Oil or Liquid X, or, you know, but it's a little bit shorter and wider, so like it's you know, it's a little bit more in the way when you're holding it. So for the sprayables, I'm thinking of rolling with the Cosmos. And then these, man, these are really nice. These are like the best ones. So these are made by IK, and they have their signature bottle style here, but they use one of these Canyon trigger sprayers, and they made this nice little adapter piece that snaps onto the back here. This actually comes off. So this is what the sprayer looks like from IK. It's made by Canyon. What IK makes is this little piece here, and this actually does a lot. It just does a lot for that spot between your thumb and your fingers there. Just kind of fills it out nicely. So this is my #1 favorite sprayer right now. I love these. And I'd be tempted to just use these for my products, but I think I need a dedicated bottle with a label on it. And so my hands are tied. I reached out to IK. I was like, can I buy just these sprayers off you? I love these. They said no. But they have these like really cool shorty ones too. I do actually plan on selling this one. I don't think I have this one on my website yet, but I want to get it on there because this has a upside downable dip tube. So that's really, really useful. So we'll be adding these on. I'll tell you what though, I would love it if I could sell these with my products with this particular trigger. It actually would work. Like, obviously dip tube length is a thing, but man, how cool would that be if I could have an upside down sprayer? It would almost kind of go with my wash bay a little bit with the black and the white themes on the sprayer. Man, I would love to be able to offer that, but I don't know, maybe IK, maybe I'll warm them up to it down the road. Maybe they'll be, I think they were just having some trouble keeping up with demand as it was, and they didn't want to add to that. So that's some of the bottle options I'm looking at. Let's move on to some salt neutralization. My go-to for salt neutralizing for a long time has been our Stars+Stripes touchless soaps. So what I think we'll do is we'll test the salt neutralizers against that. So we'll have our industry standard, we'll have our prototype, and then we'll have our touchless soaps, and we'll just do sections on this. Even just rinsing this with water, you would see a lot of this junk come off of here, but the goal is to completely neutralize any negative corrosive effect from the salts. We shall see how it goes. This is a lot more simple of a test. This is just like the best salt neutralizer that I can find on the market, and this one is ours. So we're gonna see how we compare. One thing that I should note here as well, which is interesting, you may notice that the industry standard one went through the tube really quickly, and then ours went through really slowly. And that's because our viscosity is pretty high on ours, and this is more of a water thin consistency on the other one. That will have an impact on how strongly it comes through this, because this is a ratio tip system, and so there's just a pinhole, and that kind of meters down how much this will dilute. We're aiming for 100 to 1 right now, so 1 part soap, 100 parts water, or 1% of what comes out of the power washer is the stuff from the jug here. So on this one, that'll probably be pretty accurate to 1% here, but I'm betting on ours because it's thicker, it's gonna slow it down. We might be running more like 120 or 130 to 1. So that's some testing I'll have to do a little bit further just to see what we actually come out at. But I would bet you anything, if we were to measure these over the course of a minute and mark them, I think this one would suck down quicker. Just something that is a little bit of a nuance there. So we have ours hooked up right now. Let's see what it looks like. I'm really happy with the foam on that one, man. If only we could get our snake oil and our stripes to foam up like this, I'd be so happy. This is looking really good. That paint is in fantastic condition. Man, it's sheeting water like crazy. I gotta find out what they're using on that to get that good. Well, this is gonna probably clean up all right. So I'm treating this almost like as a touchless wash because, you know, it's not really designed to be scrubbed around. It's not just a wash, it's something you put on just to neutralize the salt. So I don't anticipate it doing as good a job as our two-step soaps as getting the road film off. I don't know, we'll have to see over time what it does for us. Maybe it could be useful just as a wintertime overall wash, you know. we'll find out when this is dry what we've really got to work with. Now let's switch it over to the industry standard here, and we'll hit up that from the tank here back. So far so good. I didn't see any issues on the aluminum as I was letting it sit there. I don't think there's anything going on here. So I put it on up to about here, and now we can apply the other main current industry standard to the whole back end here. And we'll see what we got left when we're done. This is looking pretty good. The aluminum looks the same no matter what. I didn't see any damage or staining from either product. Only time will tell here once it's dry what we're dealing with and if there's any residual salt. I don't think there will be. I think the main differentiator between these two products is going to be the rust inhibitor, and I'm not sure how that would work if the product isn't left on there either, because the rust inhibitor would have to be on the surface to do anything. So I think if you were to put it on there and just rinse it off, it might not have any effect. So we have to test that, and we have to see what kind of residue is left when we just leave our salt neutralizer to dry. Certainly got a lot of junk off of there, and now what we'll do is we'll go on to the passenger side and we'll do the test on our powdered version of Stars and Stripes and see how that does on the salt, as well as just how it does as a powdered format, you know. So this should be exciting. Let's see how this goes. We're just gonna fill it right up to this little line right here. Could adjust the strength if you wanted to make the mix a little hotter. You could easily just put the put less water in there. But this is the amount that I've designed these products to be mixed with, you know, because you're trying to balance the bang for your buck with the performance, right? You can mix it stronger and get more performance, but it's going to cost more money per wash. If you can mix it leaner and get the same results or still be happy, then you're just going to save money per wash. And so I think that that's kind of a variable you can adjust a little bit. Alrighty, let's get it in there. So this is the part where this is why, as I'm spilling it around the edges, that's why we need to get a better jar for this that can insert into there. Try and guide that in a little bit. Yeah, this is pretty messy right now, but once I get the jar down, it's gonna be like, watch out. It's gonna fall right into the hole. This one's a little bit more gummy than the Stripes formula, so it's a little harder to get it out of the bottle. So you can imagine if I was selling it in these jars, what a mess that would be. We got most of it in there. One thing that I'm adjusting too is that I noticed that our suppliers started sending us these without these holes for the vents drilled out. So I'm gonna start correcting that. You're gonna see a lot of these expansion pack jugs go out without these vents pre-drilled, and I don't like that. I don't want the person on the other end to have a drill to be able to vent the pail. So we will be correcting that. If you do have a pail like that, I'm so sorry. Same thing with these caps. These caps also have to be drilled out to put the spigots in. But once you have your pails, then you can keep refilling them with the powders. So that's pretty neat. I really like the concept of these. This is our second edition of this mod to these, so I'm hoping that we're on the home stretch. I think we might be. It depends on how this wash turns out, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the final version of this, because it's already the same as Stars and Stripes as far as the powdered version. I think we just had to switch out one ingredient so that it could be in completely powdered form. I think we had one solvent that was a liquid form that we were bringing in to make these products. So we had to switch out one ingredient to make this work in this format, but it's pretty close. So you kind of see a little bit of it on the bottom here, and it's warm. This one gets warm, this one does not. So just be aware of that, especially toward the bottom where the powder settles down. So you shake it up a little bit, and then you're good to go. And as that cooler water from the top is mixed with the stuff on the bottom, it kind of cools right down. So we've been watching this for like separation, to keep an eye on it, make sure that nothing's like going sideways. And it seems to me that these formulas have been holding on pretty good and have not been separating out after mixing. So you just shake them for a minute or so, and then you're good to go. How about it, man? Let's get this out of the way. All right, so we'll make ourselves a little station here to fill up our cannons. I'm gonna grab our chrome cannons here. The chrome cannons have been holding up pretty good for me over time. I've been pretty happy with them. For the price point, you can't beat it. MTM Hydro's coming out with a new PF22, and it's a wide mouth, which is pretty cool. So I'm noticing I do have some like solids in there from the powder still. I'm wondering if that will dissolve further over time. And here's why you need a vent, man. Look at that, look at the difference. You can see the floaters in there. So I'm wondering if that's a matter of shaking it more, or if it's a matter of letting it sit for longer before we use it. So I still got to get to the bottom of that. We shall eventually get all the way to the bottom. Here we go. So what we'll do is when we use this, as we refill it later on in the day, we'll see if those floaters are still in there. So that's one of the perks when we make it here with the liquid, is that we're able to run it with the blender for like an extended period of time to make sure everything's really mixed in well. Vent, man, look at that thing. Let it rip, there we go. Same thing in this one. We got little floaters in there, and we're gonna need to kind of keep an eye on that and see if it's something that, you know, is it a problem or is it not? I don't know. I certainly don't like it. If there's a way we can fix that, then that's something that we'll try and address, you know, but we'll see. Colors look pretty good though, surprising, right? Even with that uncolored powder, we can achieve the blue and red colors. Let's see how these work. Crank the knobs tight, spread out the fans. I like them vertically oriented. Here we go. Normally my Stars pre-soak is the foamier of the two, and Stripes is the one we struggle on the foam with. For some reason in the powdered format, it's the Stars that's the weaker of the two by quite a bit, and now the Stripes is foaming like we want. I guess you can't have everything. We're gonna try and we gotta get the foam up on the Stripes side though, because I used an awful lot of it just to feel like I was coating the vehicle. We need to get it both looking, you know, we need both sides looking good. But let's see how they perform anyway. Hit the whole trailer next. I just topped off these again. One nice thing about having those pails pre-mixed like that is at least when you're doing a big project and you're refilling these over and over again, at least you're not spending time trying to measure it out. You know, you've already got that done in the pail. And these pails are now the right strength for a downstream injector to use, which maybe we'll play with that to see what it looks like. Let's hit up the whole trailer. Step 2, here we go. On this side, I'm gonna use the 2 salt neutralizer options, one versus the other. And I think that'll be an interesting test. We got industry standard number 1 here, and then we'll try our stuff on the back end of it. So let's see what we get. Now we're on to our own salt neutralizer. I'm going to use it on that back wheel and that upper area right there. We'll see what the difference is when they're both dry. Okay, well this thing is looking pretty good. I think the next thing is for us to let it dry and see what's left over when we can really tell what's going on. We'll take a good close look at everything. This was our Stars and Stripes. This was Stars and Stripes right here. And then around the back end of the trailer, I did Stars and Stripes. And then over here, this was my salt neutralizer on this rim and this area right here. This was the leading industry standard salt neutralizer here, forward on the whole half of this trailer. And then the same industry standard on this area. Up until this point, we used the industry standard. Then ours came in right here and did the front and around to here. So far what I'm seeing, I like what I'm seeing with our salt neutralizer as far as foam quality goes. The next question is, how does it work with rust inhibition? If we leave it, leave it in place and don't rinse it off, what does that look like? What happens on polished aluminum when we do that? These are the questions I have. Let's take a look at this thing when it's dry and then we'll find out what happened. Okay, so next morning, this thing is bone dry. Let's see what we've got. You ready to take a look at this with me, Kona?
I was ready on day 1.
I think we got it.
I think so too.
Take a look at this side.
The aluminum could stand to be cut.
I mean, I think it looks pretty good.
Not bad for a touch-free wash.
Yeah. So this paint is clearly coated with something. It's definitely the way that the water sheeted off this thing. This paint is in fantastic shape. So that makes this really easy on this level. But getting to the other spots, like on the aluminum here, the wheels, that's where you can start to see that we didn't get as much done with the salt neutralizers as we did with the Stars and Stripes washes. I mean, that makes sense. With Stars and Stripes, you have more surfactants going on, you have a range of pHs, you have that shock when they meet each other to break everything loose. And so it makes sense that things would look a lot better on this side. As far as salt goes, it's looking pretty good. The other side looks pretty good as far as the salt goes too. What's different on this side is that it just looks like it's cleaner. It's not perfect, but it's pretty nice. Heck, let's do one of these. The Stars and Stripes side, it's definitely looking pretty good. And the rubber is nice. There's almost like some kind of coating on this rubber too. I mean, it seems that these guys take really good care of this thing. This is very well protected and that makes the job a lot easier. So there's that. Looking on the aluminums here, we did pretty well. I mean, this, as far as like it's not damaged on either side. The aluminum's good. There's a little bit of residue on there, just a tiny bit. And it looks like they could benefit from a little bit of polishing too, which we can help them with now. A little bit of grease on here from like fuel spilling over, just a little bit there. Just a hair cloudy on the stacks. So just a little bit. Generally the forward facing surfaces are the ones that get the dirtiest when you're driving, and those are the areas where you'll see stuff left over the most. But yeah, this paint is so well protected that it just looks good, even though we only used the salt neutralizer over here. So this was our salt neutralizer from here all the way around the corner to that logo over there. Looking in there, I mean, I don't see any salt. It looks pretty nice. There's a couple areas that I need to rinse out a little better that we're just kind of draining. So we're gonna flip this hood open. We'll get in there and get that a little bit further, and we'll get it completely right for them. I can't see any difference cleanness-wise from ours to the market, industry standard that we used here. But you can see on the tanks on this side, it's just dirtier looking. You know, see how there's like that film left over? So, I mean, this was with the industry standard salt neutralizer. Now, it's possible that the salt has been neutralized even though the surface isn't really clean. I don't know. I mean, I'm just getting into this whole salt neutralizer thing, so you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you one thing though, to spray a salt neutralizer on there and expect it to work like a two-step touchless wash is probably unreasonable. Maybe it's not quite the right side-by-side to do. But yeah, this was the industry standard one here. Pretty dirty on the aluminum. And then if you look over here, this is the wheel that we did with ours. Same thing as, you know, where you would be like, okay, I still need to hit that. But, you know, maybe the strong point of the salt neutralizer is inside, you know, on the frame rails more so. That could very well be. Because as long as you're getting in there and shutting off all the corrosiveness of the salt, then that's what you want. That's what you need. And we still have like room for improvement here. Like our aluminum cleaner would help a lot. Getting in some of this oxidation, getting that out of there, making it look a little bit better. Yeah, the side that we use the salt neutralizers on, I mean, it's definitely, you know, there's a lot still on there. Yeah, see, that didn't really do it. So I still have to figure out, you know, where does the salt neutralizer really fit in? I don't know. I don't know. It seems to make sense that it would benefit you to shut off the corrosiveness of the salt and protect your things, keep your metal from falling apart. But I don't think you can expect it to be like a single-step touchless wash. We have the two-step soaps that do a really good job at getting the salt off the vehicle. They don't leave a rust inhibitor behind. So that's one thing I'd like to experiment with a little bit today, is trying to leave that behind. There may be a place for a salt neutralizer in more of a municipal setting where they just want one soap and they don't want to have to go over it twice. They just want to spray something on there, handle the salt, rinse it out, and be done. I think that that's probably where the salt neutralizer's appeal lives. That and adding in the rust inhibitor is probably a useful thing. But it seems that our touchless stuff is the best solution for getting a vehicle the cleanest and the easiest. But when you're going underneath, you know, that's where you'd probably want to apply it more, is on the undercarriage. You know, the salt neutralizer being a single step, it'll be easier to apply it underneath and just be done with it in one pass. So I think that there may be a niche for it there. But let me know what you guys think. Is this a product that you'd like to see me offer? Should I keep developing this and making it better, or should we move on to other things? And are there any other ideas that you guys have to, you know, add to our line, things that you find, you know, that you need? What is it that you want? Because we can figure it out. We can make whatever we want here. So let's pop the hood on this thing, and then we'll do some all-purpose cleaner testing and get the engine real nice. While I'm doing that stage, I'm gonna use our salt neutralizer underneath with an undercarriage sprayer to apply it that way and just see what happens. I'm gonna put it on there and let it dry. That should be interesting, but I think that our rust inhibitor is gonna have to get left behind on there to do anything. You know, if you rinse it off, I don't know. Let's just put it on there and find out what happens when we let it dry. Is that all the way open? Yep, I guess so. How about it? Check out this engine Kona. You see this thing? Old school. Yeah, there's some room for us to get some work done inside of here.
This battery box needs help.
Yeah, that salt neutralizer didn't really clean. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the engine clean, apply that salt neutralizer to the underneath and let it sit there. I don't know, maybe I should do that last because I still need to wash this for real. I'm gonna use the two-step soaps on this side now to get it, you know, a little better than we left it with just the salt neutralizers. And then I think after that, I'll use the salt neutralizer underneath through an undercarriage sprayer just to coat the underneath and leave it. And we'll see what that does, you know, see what kind of residue that leaves behind, if it's negative at all. All right, let's get some APC tests going on. Okay, we have 9 APCs here. I think that we'll probably find a favorite in here. I have my heavy duty degreaser mixed in with these. If I had to guess, it'd be this one by color, but I don't know, it could be this one, who knows? There's 3 purple options, 3 or 4 red options. We got a yellow one, and then we got a brown one. Who knows what they are? We're gonna find out the hard way. Hopefully no aluminum gets damaged in the process. Look at the old school terminals on the wiring in this engine. Wow, pretty cool. Yeah, there it is. I'm not gonna hit the engine super hard. You know, I don't wanna force water into places where it doesn't belong, especially when there's like, you know, there's a lot of little spots where things could get really weird. I want this thing to start when they come pick it up. Man, yeah, we definitely need to get this thing a little cleaner than it is right now on the salt neutralizer side. But honestly, you know, it did pretty good. I mean, their paint is in really good condition, which helps a lot. But man, it would be nice if we had a salt neutralizer option. I feel like that would be such a useful thing, just to keep the things you have lasting a little longer, you know? Rust inhibitor, you know, that's what I think. Standard number 1. 1. Let's go. Let's start right here. Wait, no, this is standard number 2. All right, well, let's try it. All these are uncut, so these are straight up, no dilution. There may be some issue with that because maybe certain soaps are designed to be cut with water a little bit to work right. And certainly if it's too strong, then that would be the case. You know, we're doing what we can here. We don't have a label to go off of here either, you know. Load that thing up, man. Oh, okay. We lost some yellow. And this stuff is certainly working. Let's try it in here. Good idea to re-grease things after I get them, that's for sure. We'll just let that soak in there. We'll use the power washer to get that loose. So degreasers work well in general, right? There's some work better than others. The nuance to it is that you don't want it to work in a way that's damaging. So like degreasers have the potential to be damaging to paint and also mirror polished aluminum. That's the thing you want to watch out for. So like without the labels and not knowing which one is which, I'm probably gonna have a few missteps while I do this process where I find out the hard way that, oops, you know, I guess this is one of the ones that I wouldn't normally use on polished things, you know. As you saw here, like whatever was yellow on there is a little less yellow now. But that's just the way that it is. I think that that's my angle, at least with my degreaser, is that I try and make it work really well, but also be forgiving so that when you get it on your polished aluminum or something like that, then it's not really a giant problem. All right, let's rinse this thing off and see what's left. Well, that worked out pretty nice. Definitely looking a little better. Still some yellow left here and there. Got a lot of the junk off the axles. A lot of grease. Grease has been sent off packing. Very nice. This is going pretty easy. These guys take really incredible care of this truck, I gotta say. This thing is absolutely one of the easiest ones to clean I've done in a long time. It's got that age to it though, so like sometimes you don't know if you're cleaning something or removing something that you shouldn't. On this side, same thing, just a little bit of dingy grease. All right, industry standard number 1. We shall find out. It's a tall order in here. I'll tell you what, you can tell this is a good, strong alkaline degreaser, man. You feel it in the air. All right, we'll take a closer look at this when the light is over here. That definitely got the job done. We'll have a better idea, obviously, once it's dry. I'm just trying to get a feel for these degreasers that I'm playing with and just get acclimated to them a little bit. Out of curiosity, I mean, I need to polish this up anyway. I'm gonna do a little APC test on these tanks and just see what happens, see how they do on polished aluminum. All right, polished aluminum test, standard 1, here we go. Standard 2, standard 3, standard 4. I think we're gonna run out of room. Standard 5. Oh, standard 6. I guess we'll go around the corner here. 7, 8, 9. Okay. You know what's weird about polished aluminum is that sometimes some aluminums like will just evaporate when a soap hits them, and it's like something neutral that shouldn't have happened. And it's like the soap is gentle, it's designed for it, and then something goes wrong. I've had that. I've had issues with my degreaser on some aluminums out of the blue, even when 99% of the time it's fine. So I think there's different types of aluminum, different types of polish. So obviously there's different ways to get to this shine. Some polishes are kind of more of like a compound that almost leaves a lot of oil, I feel like, in the pores of the aluminum without actually smoothing it down. Those types come off pretty easily. The cutting wheel where you're like smoothing the surface to a reflective finish, those seem more durable. I feel like we're turning things a little bit sideways here. Let's just rinse this off and we'll see what's left. But I'm seeing a lot of reaction in these two. Not so much in this one or this one or this one. And that one's pretty bad. We'll rinse this off and see what it looks like. Again, I'm not gonna throw any brands under the bus as far as which ones caused the damage. What I can say is which ones were mine. My soaps were numbers 5 and 8. This really red one here was is one of my newer prototypes as a dedicated APC. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's great news. We didn't see any damage on that. My current heavy duty formula is to the left, the one to the left of this last one. So my heavy duty formula is this one right here. Just a slight little bit of a streak. Here's the thing too, is like, I try and make my stuff forgiving, but like, I don't really intend for it to be used straight up either. And I'm sure that a lot of these other suppliers don't intend for that. If you were telling any one of these manufacturers, hey, I'm gonna wash some polished aluminum, some mirror polished aluminum with your degreaser, what strength do you recommend? They would probably just tell you, water it down a whole bunch. This is more of a test of what's the worst case scenario that a customer might experience if they have polished aluminum and they're the kind of person to take the bottle and just dump it on there. And those people exist. It's not always a case of more is better. You know, this test is just to kind of see what the actual chemical makeup would do worst case scenario. Like for example, my Stars and Stripes formulas are designed to go on at 100 to 1. So only 1% of the soap you see on the surface is actually the soap. The rest is water after it runs through the systems, whether it be the foam cannon or a fancy injector like what I use. If you were to take my touchless stuff and just pour it out of the bottle, it would give you similar results to this because it's not designed to be used like that. To be able to get the job done after diluting it, it has to be strong, which means it has to be strong in the bottle. This is just an interesting way to make something that we can fix with our metal polish. Next up, I want to finish cleaning this truck right with our touchless soaps. So I'm going to do the other side of it with that, get it looking a little bit better, and then we'll do a undercarriage coating with the salt neutralizer, the one that I made with the rust inhibitor in it, just to see what that looks like when we spray it on and leave it. And then we'll do our tune-ups and we'll get this aluminum polished back up and looking right. Then the last thing we could do is some tire shine stuff, but it looks like they have some kind of coating on their rubber. It feels like it too. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do any tests on this, but at least the wheels are already looking good, so it's one less thing for us to have to do. All right, I got my soap injector set back to my drums here. So we got the original Stars and Stripes going on. Stripes is the one that you don't want to dry on the polished aluminum. It wouldn't be as dramatic as those tests we did with the APC over there, but it wouldn't be positive necessarily. So like what I'm doing now is I'm gonna start rinsing the tanks first and the wheels first, just to kind of move that soap off of there. And then I'll take my time with the rest of it. Now it's time to douse the underneath with some salt neutralizer. So one nice thing about this undercarriage sprayer is that it has this extra gun on it. So when you squeeze this side at the same time as this one, it opens up some soaper nozzles, and then you can put soap underneath things. This one right here, when I squeeze this one, these open up. Basically that just drops the PSI down and allows the soap injector to run. So we're gonna put our salt neutralizer underneath this whole thing and leave it, and then we'll see what happens with the residue. Is there any damage to anything, or, you know, that's what we're looking for. All right, so to connect to mine down there, it's a little complicated looking, but it works for me. All right, so now we're hooked back up to my salt neutralizer there. This is one of those weird products that it's kind of hard to say like, hey, you're gonna benefit from this as the years go on if you keep using it, you know, because like the goal is obviously to keep your vehicle from rusting over the years. So it's very difficult to show in this moment what we're accomplishing. So all I can really do is show the time lapse of like the salt neutralizer doing its thing and what it looks like when we put it on there onto raw metal. We can prevent rusting, but we do leave it in place. So I'm gonna replicate that on a big scale here by spraying on our salt neutralizer and walking away, not rinsing it off. So let's find out. All right, here we go. There's a bunch of rust right here. So this is going to be a great spot to test the rust remover and just have a dedicated solution for that. Because I get asked about rust pretty frequently and I haven't had a good option for that. Anyways, this is what it looks like here. We have a good amount of it going on. Little areas, rust coming down, and none of this is, yeah, it's, you know, it needs something. So these are the iron removers. So we have an industry standard here. 5 industry standards. I believe that 2 of these are mine. I'm pretty sure. I would have to look at my notes. I do know which one is which if I look into it, so this is not a complete guessing game, but I'm just trying to get a feel for what I like the most, and then we'll find out where I stand after. At least I'll find out where I stand after. Let's just start using these one at a time and see what happens. These are the kind of formula that turns purple when it hits metal. And one of these is a low odor version, which we're trying to figure out because the iron removers that are on the market universally don't smell very good. And I think the next wave of iron removers will be ones that don't have a horrible fragrance to them. We were just gonna run with it if we can't make the performance as good though, because performance has to come first. So we might name the scent like Rusty Skunk or something like that. It's a really horrible smell. You would really have to try it to understand how bad the smell of iron removers are. But that's just the main driving component in all of them that seems to be the best performer. And it's a non-acid, which is interesting. Theoretically fine on like polished aluminum, but we'll find out on that tank that I messed up over there. We'll use each one of these on the aluminum and just see what happens, if anything. All right, standard number 1. We have standard 2. Oh yeah, you can see standard 1's already doing its thing. Check that out. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to turn dark, dark purple when they hit metal. Yeah, this one's coming up doing its thing. Standard 3. Yeah, that's very quick, very quick. Standard 4 and standard 5. All right, it appears that the truck is pitched this way, so my experiment's kind of running that way. Let's get some rags on this and see what's left underneath before that runs any further. So those all look like they're doing something. I mean, we'll wipe them down and see what's left of that rust. That one's pretty easy. I think it's just that main driving ingredient, which is that really awful smelling chemical, and then there's only a little bit of room for maybe some surfactants mixed in. I'm not sure what my chemist did to come up with it, but I told him, like, look into it, let's get it happening. He came back with these, and so far so good. I've already sent these out for some testing with some detailer buddies of mine who like some really nice products. The feedback has been very good. This is another one that's surprisingly expensive. I don't think it's that expensive to make, honestly. I think that we might be able to come at this industry from a price point kind of perspective, which would be pretty cool. There's another rag here. The main thing that this formula is used for is for detailers who need to do a clay bar approach. Get the paint decontaminated before the buffing process, because if you have metal like from brake dust or maybe fallout from parking near railroad tracks or things like that, if you have those little metal flakes in your paint, when you go to buff the paint, you're basically converting your buffing wheel into like sandpaper. And that is not what you're looking for. As a detailer, you do not want that. So there's definitely a need for this stuff. I think that part of the need of the formula is to have a little bit of lubricity, because what you do is you spray this on your paint and then you come back with a clay bar and you rub it around on the surface till you don't feel resistance on the paint anymore. And so when you're doing that process, you want something that's going to dissolve the metal, pull it out of the paint. You take the clay bar, you pick that paint, or you pick that metal out of the paint with that. And it's kind of like almost like an exfoliating process for your paint. That's basically how it's done. So this is a rough first test because everything kind of, I think, blended together a little bit here as things ran to the right. I think that it's kind of a toss-up. They all seem to do the same thing. We'll rinse this thing off now and just see what's left underneath there. We'll keep using it. There's a lot of other little spots that are rusty that can use some help. Over time, I'll get a better feel for these. And I also have to do it on paint that needs it. I'm not gonna use it on their paint up here because it's so mint. I don't wanna undo whatever goodness is going on in their paint on the cab. So we'll do more tests on other vehicles with these iron removers. So testing it with a clay bar on paint is gonna be for another vehicle. For rust removal, I think we're looking at something pretty helpful here. I think that'll definitely be useful. All right, let's try industry standard 3. I think this one's mine, but I could be wrong. I know standard 1 was not, because that one was extremely viscous, almost too much so. And so like I wanted ours to be a little, a little less thick. So this is looking pretty helpful. It's definitely doing something. I wonder if you can just rinse it right off, because like I used a rag to wipe it around on these ones here. Let's have it run down from the back. There we go. Wow. I bet if you just let that soak for a minute, then it would take that right off all the way. This is one really hard line of rust right there, but it's going. That's pretty neat. I'm really late to the party with this particular concept. I'm probably the last one to come out with an iron remover, and I haven't even come out with it yet. We still have to design the label, name the product, There's a lot of little things to do. SDS authoring won't take long, but the label work takes a minute, because especially if you want to make a really nice label, you got to take your time. At least we do. In our case, we have to take our time. But that's all right. We got time. Well, let's rinse this and see what's left. Honestly, that's like impressive. I didn't think that we'd get that off that easily. I mean, that rust is just gone. Oh man. Now I'm addicted. Now I gotta keep going. Oh yeah, look at it go. Look at it go. Huh. Man, that's fun. Jesus, I mean, that's like already gone. Wow. Hit a little bit up over here too. I'm not sure why, but this like corner of the trailer just has a lot of rust on it. I really like that I could just spray this on here. If I could make this strong enough to run through one of my injectors and douse the whole thing, it would be so great. Can you imagine just taking off all the rust this easily? I mean, this is pretty easy even with the sprayer of it. I can't believe how purple this is turning. All that rust in there, really going away quick. Let's see this first spot here. Oh my God. It's just gone. Woo, man, wow. Oh my gosh. This might be my new favorite thing. We got a little rust in here. Let it do its thing. Oh yeah, we got purple coming through everywhere. Anywhere where there's bare metal or rust of any kind, it will react. I'm excited to use this on normal wheels for just cleaning wheels in general and taking the brake dust out of them. I gotta figure out what's better, this stuff or my heavy duty wheel cleaner. That stuff does a pretty good job of removing brake dust anyway. Like, I don't think this would help on the rubber, like my heavy duty cleans out the tires and the wheel at the same time. This certainly has to be doing some good. I bet this would be a great prep for then wheel cleaning afterwards. But man, this thing is like really, really purple. How are we doing up here? Oh. Woo. I'm gonna use all of it. I have to make up some more. Wow. Dang, man. That's a lot of reaction going on. All right. I mean, look around the corner over here. We got all kinds of rust to play with. Let's try this now. Let's try industry standard 1. This one's very viscous. We'll do up to that. We'll do white, red, and white, red. All right, second one. Third one, which we've been using. I think this one's me. Pretty sure this one's me. 4. I think I'm running out of space. 5 we don't have very much of. Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if 4 is the non-smelly, low odor one. Let's try it. I think this is the low odor one. 4 is the low odor one. Does that one, I noticed that the one that was low odor that we were playing with didn't really work very good. And this is kind of a hard area to see it in, but like there's a very purple here and it's not very purple here. Like there's definitely more purple over here, and less right here. Second one's looking pretty good. Actually, second one looks really nice. Let me just double check which one is mine. I at least want to know which one I am. All right, so I checked my notes back there. So 4 was the low odor one. Mine was number 5. My best shot at this is number 5. So let's look for just a little more rust and do a little more testing with mine while we're at it. Yeah, we got some junk in here for sure. Here we go. And let's try like an area up here too. Here we go. Oh yeah, stuff's melting right off, man. So mine was this one right here. That is looking pretty good. It's definitely working. I think the iron remover one is pretty simple to make. It seems like everyone's using the same basic ingredient, and then there's just a little bit of differences in the execution, like when it comes down to viscosity and whatnot. I think this is one of those products that should be a good price point. It's something that you would need as a detailer, or if you're just looking to take rust off of something. I think it boils down to price point more than anything. All right, let's try what little bit I have left here. Whoa. Oh man, we are cooking with gas over here. Oh man, so little left. Oh my God, just scraping by. Yeah, it's doing its thing. Here we go. Well, we're getting it. We're toast on this one. We're gonna need to make up some more of that. All right, this is one we won't be able to test today, but this is a concrete dissolver. So this is a concept that I've made for years for large concrete companies who have pumping trucks and mixers and things, and they get that dust of concrete on them at the end of every day. The point of that stuff is it's a glycolic acid. Glycolic acid's not cheap, but it doesn't attack metal like muriatic acid. Muriatic acid works better to break down hardened concrete, but it takes a little bit of the vehicle with it every time. I had customers that were having to replace their frame rails on their cement mixers every so often, which too often, probably once every 4 or 5 years, I think. There's a pivot joint on a concrete mixer toward the back where that barrel spins on, and I think that's where they would get a crack because of the acid getting in between the plates there, I believe, and eating away at the metal. I designed that concrete dissolver for that situation to resolve that, and it worked. I've sold it for about 20 years, and when I started selling it on my website, I wasn't really getting good reviews. I think that it's because it's a little too vague on what it is. You know, like my floor is concrete, like it's not going to dissolve that, you know, and it's not going to work as well as muriatic acid. The point of it is to do the job of removing the concrete. You spray it on dry concrete, let it soak in, and then you brush it around, reapply if needed, just keep trying to get through it, and then you rinse it at high pressure. It's kind of a specific application. I'm trying to figure out a way to get it back onto my website because I know it is a great product. It's just a matter of managing the expectations of people and letting them see exactly what it is and what it's for and how it works. If you have an expectation that it's going to take an inch of concrete and just turn it into putty, then I think that you would be disappointed. Sometimes you have to manage expectations with a product, and that's where we're at with that one. So we've made some adjustments to it to make it a little bit more effective, but it's not going to be a muriatic acid. It's still going to be the same purpose of not destroying your glass or your polished aluminum or your metal. But we'll see if I release that one again. I might just make it special order for certain accounts still. That's what I've been doing with the original formula all this time. So let's rinse all this off and we'll see what's left. It looks like all that purple has left the truck and ended up somewhere else. So we got a lot of rust out of there. That's just a really helpful tool. I'm gonna love that stuff. I mean, everything's gone off of here. I don't even really think you need to agitate it. Like you could just spray it on there and rock and roll. Now we didn't get this off right here, just a little bit right there, but you could reapply that, maybe scrub it. But man, there's no hint of that rust there anymore. This wheel is looking really good. This is one of the industry standards. I mean, it's not gonna get your vehicle, you know, completely rust free, but it might be it's certainly a head start. All of that run down on the paint that's kind of ugly looking. Boy, what a great solution. So the first one seemed to do, okay, so I did from here to here with the first one. Still some rust in there, but they're all that way. Here to here with the next one. I think this one worked better than this one. Here, very little rust. This is not mine, but it's still some here. I mean, this is an unpredictable surface. That's part of the problem. Here, this one was my odor-free one, which I don't know if this wasn't that bad. Maybe this wasn't as bad in the first place as the ones before it, but it's not looking too bad. And then my favorite one, the one that I think I like the most that we're making, was this right here and this. And then we did, with mine, we did over here, which still looks like it could use some more. We did some, I forgot to rinse this off over here, so I got to rinse these areas down. I did do this wheel with ours, and you know, I mean, there's still some rust in there. I feel like the industry standard number one has an edge over mine. So we'll keep working on it. Maybe we can make it a little stronger or something. And as far as lubricity, you know, I'm curious what you guys think. If any of you out there use iron removers, let me know what your preference is. Do you like it really thick so that it grabs the surface and stays there longer? Which I could see the advantage of that if you're using a clay bar. Or would you rather have it be just a little thinner so it sprays a little easier? I would imagine viscosity is a good thing. I would imagine you're gonna want a little more viscosity in that kind of product. Let me know what your preference is. We still have to figure out a good name for it. Well, let's do a really quick aluminum test just to see how those work on mirror polished aluminum. We got ourselves a nice fresh canvas here to destroy. So sample 1, from left to right. Sample 2, sample 3, sample 4, and we're hurting here. We don't have much. And that's us. So these are my two options here. This is the low odor one. This is the horrible smelling but better working one. I am gonna have to let these dry, I think, just so I can find out. That is part of the process in product design, is like, on a formula level, it may seem like it's gonna be okay on polished aluminum. See, a lot of my customers have really nice trucks and really nice show trucks, polished up like crazy. And I don't wanna be the one who undoes all that goodness. You know, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of labor to polish aluminum. So my goal with my soaps is to make sure that they're fine on that. What I've found so far, you know, after like a whole lifetime of working in this industry and like over 20 years of working in this industry firsthand as, you know, the guy working in the field. I grew up before that even in this industry. I mean, I'm almost 40, so I've been around this since I was born. In my experience, if you can make a soap that is not harmful to mirror polished aluminum, then you're going to have an easy time everywhere else. This is generally the most touchy, the most unpredictable surface. It's a very soft metal. It's very easy to remove the shine from it. Once you nail this, you're good. There's still obviously other things, you know, how does the formula affect wax? You know, maybe somebody has carnauba wax and they want to preserve that. Is the formula going to remove that kind of finish? You know, that's one of the next, I would say, touchiest things that I've come across. I just feel my way through these things, and you know, if there's issues once it's in the field, we can address that. I've had issues where formulas maybe had a little bit too much of one component or another, or they had a solvent that wasn't compatible with the pH level and the environment of the product, and so you get separation after a product's out in the field for a while, where the product separates out into different layers of ingredients in the bottle. Little things like that. You can try and do advanced aging tests, but you never really can replicate just the goodness of real-world feedback. And you try and find those problems ahead of time, but it's generally, you know, you're going to find some weird curveball later that you didn't expect, usually about 3 or 4 months into the release of a new product. So if you want to play it safe, you know, you just get a product that we've had out for a little longer than that. New products, though, it's funny, you know, there's big industry players that spend tens of $millions to build a new product, and they still have that issue when they've, you know, there's still that potential for something to go sideways, because in the field, you're really dealing with so many variables. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? And I think we could probably rinse this off. I think this formula as a whole seems to be unaffecting to the aluminum, which is good. That's nice. So this is a very forgiving product. Doesn't look like it's having any negative effects. I don't see any issues on that aluminum there. Unlike the APC tests, obviously this needs a little bit of help. All right, so I think I'm at a spot where I can get busy with some polishing. See what we can do to set this aluminum straight. We'll do a little bit of a side-by-side with our sprayable metal polish options. This should be really fun. I think these are probably going to be really helpful for metal polishing too. These are really coming in handy. Let's put that right there for now. Let's try industry standard number 1. Now you got your compound in there and you have a solvent on top of that. You have to shake it all together, right? And again, we won't get into details on like who's who and which product's what, other than that mine is the standard number 2, which is one I'm emptying out right here right now. So this is like I would say probably the leading sprayable polish on the market. So what I like about sprayable metal polishes is a lot of times you would have a similar, like maybe a heavier amount of compound versus solvent in the bottle. You would shake it up, you would put it on a microfiber, and then you would work it in. What I like about sprayable polishes is that you can apply the polish to that and eliminate the step of putting it on there, and then you just wipe it in once it's on there. Let's give this a shot right up the middle here. And let's see if we can do that. This might be a tall order too, as far as taking out chemical burns. Those can kind of bite into the surface a little bit. But it looks like we're doing all right. Not quite getting them off on this lower level, but I did get them pretty much right there. All right. Yeah, so we got all of our junk that's pulling out of there. This is definitely working. Not bad at all. Let's try out standard number 3. If I was to do this section with this, it's probably not too much of a tall order. I might have to go around the corner here to where it's a little worse, because these were not really damaged. I think the worst damage is right here, and then the last one around the corner over there. And we'll get this one here. Use a fresh side of the cloth, keep that cross-contamination minimal. The trick with any polish is just keep on applying it, you know. Let's see if we can get this out. Oh yeah, that's working. That's definitely helping. One of the variables here is like how hard you press and how long you're doing that for, because there's a physical component of this. Like you can really press in there and it'll help, you know, the more pressure you put on that. I'm not really like a metal polish guy. I'm kind of new at this. It's overdue, and it's something that we've needed for a long time, especially in those moments where I've got a situation where somebody's aluminum's a little funny after using my stuff for whatever reason. Like if those situations come up, I really want to be able to do something nice for somebody and say, hey, you know, here's a supply of some polish. How about that? Just a little something to offset the pain. Yeah, so what you do is you keep flipping your rag around. Probably better to use a whole entirely new one, but that'll get that residue out of there and leave you with a little more shine. All right, this towel is for the trash. Let's try ours now. I'm gonna test on the worst areas with ours, just because I can see when the product sits for a while, it separates out and you have to shake it again. But you can see how much compound is in there when that happens. You know, ours, I haven't shaken ours yet, but we have a lot of compound in this one. So this should work pretty good. Hard to say, you know, this is one of those things I'm gonna have to use over time to really get a feel for it, see which one I like the best. My goal is for mine to be my favorite of the samples, obviously. So here we go. Okay, here goes nothing. So I've got a lot of aluminum to work with on this truck. I intend to actually hit all the wheels and the stacks, well, the one stack. Any chrome, you know, I just wanna get a feel for this stuff and see what it does for us. Seems to be getting the job done though. Looking pretty promising. Oh yeah. So when you first start using it, it seems like the universal thing with any of these as you're doing it, it takes a minute to start building up this dark oxidation on the rag. And it feels like once that kind of catches on and starts moving with that's when you start making progress and you start seeing things get shinier. Oh yeah. Same thing applies. You know, I think that the harder you push and the more reps you do, I can see it'd be kind of tricky to do a fair side-by-side because of the just the nature of how long are you spending on that area when you're doing it. So we got these stainless straps. Let's see what happens on here. All right, we got some junk on there. Flip this over, go this way. I'm kind of overlapping quite a bit actually, which is counterproductive to the test because I'm like way over, I think, onto that area. But I like it. It seems to be working. Pretty exciting. That's not bad because this is our first venture into a polish. We're kind of new to this industry, but I don't think we'll get into making like the buffing wheels and the bars and all of that. I think that, you know, my goal here is just to have something nice for touch-ups for people, just to give a more complete lineup. Not bad. I need to wipe some residue off of this still. All right. Did I do over here? I forget. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get the front of this tank now. Probably using too much of it. Pretty good odds. Just want to see if I can get this, because this is a really dramatic stain right here. Can't leave it, that's for sure. Well, that's nice. That made quick work out of that. Wow. Okay. Well, sitting back and looking at it now, I feel like we're on the right track. This is like pretty good. So we have ours right here, industry standard 1, industry standard 3. So where the all-purpose cleaners ran down, they actually have almost a cleaner streak, which is something that affects both mine and the industry standard. I know that these were the worst streaks and these ones weren't as bad. So the fact that these are more visible still than these tells me that maybe I can get these out just by going over that middle section with mine. Let's try that out. Let's see what we can do. A little fresh microfiber coming in. Okay, let's go this direction since we're trying to get those less visible. I think going long ways might help more. Yeah, so you start getting that pressure in there, you get that oxidation onto the rag, it starts to get some work done. And we probably could have done that with any of them with a little bit more elbow grease, but that's starting to look a little better. Boy, look at all the junk on this thing. Flip it around, hit the other side. All right, so they're still slightly visible. Certainly not too bad. I'd say this tank is looking better off than when we started. All right, so now we got to put in the reps. So we got the face of this one tank good, but we got other tanks to do. We got wheels to do. So I'm going to spend the rest of my day here polishing. It's not a very glorious job, but somebody's got to do it. Wow. We just got to hit up this tank, these wheels, those wheels. We got to hit up that. These are AccuRides, and I don't know what that means. We'll figure it out. What do you know about this?
Just polish them, bro.
Yeah? You would do it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Well, we're going to do like Kona says, you know. She knows best. So I already got in here a little bit. It's kind of nice to have a tool like this where we can hit chrome and polished aluminum just a little bit better. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. Is this possible? I don't know. I think that being sprayable does limit how much abrasion you can have in there, so it's probably not. I think that this is more of a finish cut kind of product, a final kind of cut. It's not a heavy cut. I mean, if I kept going, but this doesn't seem like a good use of time. I feel like there's faster ways. We'll just pretend like that's good enough. The rest of it looks pretty good though. Certainly taking off like the spots on the chrome here. Yeah. All right, we got this thing up here. This is dripping down right here, and that's running down and making things less appealing than they should be. I do like this format though, because I'm all about trying to figure out ways to save time. The idea of spraying this directly onto the surface and then going straight to the wiping like this, just to wipe it down, that just seems to save a step. It makes it easier, you know, for little tune-ups. Man, that cleaned right off. That was no big deal at all. That wasn't in there too deep, that's for sure. So before I can make the label on this stuff, I'm gonna need to get pretty familiar with it and what it can and can't do. And also that'll help me when I make videos with it, just to know where this stuff fits in, you know, what's its advantage. Seems to work pretty good though. Definitely digging it. This is one of those products that's gonna be limited by my own lack of talent. So I gotta get better at this. I'm really the limiting factor here right now, I think. Somebody who knows how to polish, who like really knows, they'd probably take this and do some pretty interesting things with it. I just don't have a lot of experience. Well, I don't have any experience in the polishing world. A little bit at a time. Let's throw like a mist of it on there. I have a feeling that this is going to take a lot of time to get good at. At a certain point, you gotta wonder, is it better to bust out the cutting wheel and the rouge bar and really hit it? Obviously, that's a thing. And there is a point where that's a better use of your time. I think this is a good, like, quick tune-ups kind of solution. Certainly not a replacement for the cutting wheel though. So let me know if you have any thoughts on this as far as how this is working and what could be better about it so far as you see it. This is pretty enjoyable though. There's something about it that's just like, as you see it gets shinier, the more you rub it, the better it gets. I see the lure of this and like why the guys who polish metal for a living, they're all like looking like a coal miner covered in aluminum. They seem like happy people, I don't know. I mean, it is fulfilling, like as you do it and as you see the surface is kind of getting nicer. Yeah, well, we're just dabbling here. Polishing really sucks. There's so much good content out there with people who do a fantastic job polishing. I don't know what I'm thinking getting involved in that world, because I'm never gonna be able to perform at the level of some of the guys who you'll see out there who do this for real. But I do wanna offer as good a solution as we can. The thing is that when you boil it right down, we're able to take feedback from any of our customers and people who polish aluminum or do detailing. We're able to take the feedback and the constructive criticism we get there and apply it. So if something needs to be better, and you know, I like to remove myself from the equation as much as possible because obviously if you learn one thing from this video, it's that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing my best shot at trying to figure out where we stand, using the different industry standards that are available, that have been recommended to us, and just trying to get a grip on how our quality is. I'm not surprised that a lot of our options today were not as good as the stuff that I brought in, because you got to start somewhere. But I think it'll be really enjoyable as time goes on to share this process with you guys, because I really like the idea of, you know, the two things I like the most are making videos and making new products. So to combine them together and share this with you guys will be really interesting. And it won't always be this kind of haphazard testing of like industry standards. As a product shapes up, it turns into label design, figuring out the container, and like figuring out how to market it and how to make good videos with it. And it'll be fun to share that. We got a little puddle in there. Still a little discolored looking down here where the water spots are. Actually, that wipes off with my finger. This is an AccuRide, so I feel like this has a coating on it, but I could be wrong. It seems to me that this is coated. This will be for like down the road when people ask if it's safe to use on AccuRides. You know what's weird is that even though this is polish and like how you would resolve problems, I'm not seeing this little puddle go away. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get into a spot where I have a really, really shiny area and the rest of it's gonna have to match. I'm doing a horrible job. Oh my God. Well, it appears that the wheel is benefiting. At this point, I just have to like get that residue wiped down with a cleaner side of the rag. I think the real winner on this experience is this roll of rags. Man, fantastic. We just got them up on the site. They're, I forget what we're getting. I think they're like 20 bucks for a roll of 30. And they're just kind of perfect. I think they're 260 GSM. And I just like the format being on a roll like that. I think it's perfect for like this kind of task that you're not going to necessarily want to. I don't imagine that metal polishing pros reuse their microfibers and wash them. I just don't feel like that's done. I could be wrong, but let me know because I'll be going through a lot of rags. Otherwise, I'm going to be throwing them all out. It's looking all right. Not bad. Much better now without that chunk in the bottom. How are we doing over here?
It's late as hell. You got metal polish on the floor.
Yeah, I sprayed the floor over there. I already did right here. It came out pretty good.
Will accurides are easy.
I'm switching to industry standard #1 for this wheel. Just see if there's any difference in the overall shine between these two. You gonna help with this one or what?
I've got an itch to scratch.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna hang out there? Here we go. Whatever this water stain is in this one, fighting me a little bit. I'm getting it though. This is coming out pretty good. I had a harder time getting the stain out of the bottom of this side. We still have that stain there. I don't know, it's still there. It's not bad though.
Fail.
It's not bad, Kona.
I'm not biased at all.
Yeah, ours we got, I mean, they still both have imperfections at the bottom there, but I just feel like we got a little bit more of it out of there. No, not bad.
We win.
Yeah. All right, we got to get that stack. Probably gonna make a mess by doing this. Maybe we'll just spray the rag directly. I should bust out the scissor lift. Oh. Oh, that helped. That helped a lot. I think we might need a heavy cut as well, because sometimes you need to do some heavy lifting. I see the need for something that can hit harder as well. It's like there's a need for both, because that could be a lot easier, I think. Still working pretty good. That's good. Got to come pick it up tomorrow, so I'm just wrapping up now. I think we still have some time for some tire shine tests in the morning. I just want to try and see how the back wheels look with it, because these front ones are coated with something. I'm very curious what he has on his tires. I love the idea of coatings, you know, something real durable. Whatever is on his tires right now, it's like, it's good. Industry standard degreasers did a fantastic job. Frame's looking pretty good. Got all the junk out of there. You can see where I stood on there to clean the windshield up a little bit. This thing is cleaned up all right. Water in the door. Well, everything cleaned up pretty good. Yeah, I can live with this. Looking proper. What do you think, Kona?
Yeah, you need to cut this aluminum better.
Yeah, well, I think the aluminum looks good. And we got the salt neutralizer underneath there.
Pretty rough under here.
Okay, we got all kinds of stuff to play with on the rubber here. So we have a couple of industry standards in here, but primarily we have prototypes though. Like this is our idea of a tire gel, like a dressing in gel form. I believe these are 2 silicone-free options. These are my current one with UV protection added. And this, I guess we only have one other industry standard that I've heard good things about. So we shall see how this goes. We'll just do some sections, you know, we'll do one here We'll do one here, we'll do one here, and we'll see how they look when they dry. I took one of our foam blocks and I chopped it up to little pieces like this. That way I can prevent any cross-contamination, you know. So this is industry standard 1. Check out this bottle. Now this is one of my bottles. See how this trigger sprayer bottoms out on the side of this bottle? That's no good. That's what you don't want. That's so annoying. So like when you're designing a product, you have to think about little things like that, you know? See, I can barely prime this thing because it doesn't want to fully compress. We'll do 1/4. This one's pretty thick. I believe this is a water-based dressing. So let me know what you guys prefer in the tire shine world. Do you like water-based? Do you prefer silicone-based? Are you more into the whole coatings thing that's going on right now? And what's your favorite brand of tire shine? All right, this one's really nice. I like that. Standard 2. This is a play on my current one. We'll just flip this applicator around. I really hate these bottles bottoming out like this. So this one is a play on my current one. So I'm trying to either invent new products for my line or improve on existing ones. Either way, you know, almost like a version 2, you know. Try and make a nice clean line here. This one seems a little less consistent as it dries than the last one. As it dries though, it's leveling out. Now let's try number 3, another variation. I would have to look at my notes to know what we did with this one. I'm not sure off the top of my head what the difference is between these two. I think maybe one has UV protection, the other doesn't. But I'm pretty sure like I want to have UV protection in our tire shine. Help prevent dry rotting a little bit maybe. All right, we have 2 silicone-free versions. We'll split the difference here between these. Oh, that's interesting. It's such a different feel already. That goes on pretty easy. So we got 5 different tire shines. Water-based, silicone-based. They all look the same. Hey Kona, what do you think about this? We did the silicone-free one over here.
This would need a durability test.
Yeah. All right, let's try the tire gel on this one. I don't know if gel is a good idea or not with the scale of the tires we're normally working with. It's definitely more difficult. It's slower, it's harder to get on there, but it's more controllable. So the perk here is now you don't have to worry about overspray as much on your rim or on your fenders or whatever. Try and get this block lubed up all the way to the edges here. Hang on. All right, now that we got this thing primed. The main thing I want in a tire shine is 0 sling, so I don't want any worries about it getting on anything else when you're driving, you know. And I want it to be easy, but the primary thing is I want it to be durable. I want our tire shine to hold up good because we have a lot of customers who are dealing with some really rough environments. You know, either they're plowing or they're driving through landfills or quarries, you know. Whatever Matt has on that tractor up there, I'm really curious to find out because that seems to look like it works really well. I like the idea of a coating. I see kind of mixed reviews online for a lot of coatings, for tire coatings. I think they're kind of finicky on how they're installed, and you know, if it's difficult to install properly to get it right. I think we have enough of that with our touchless system. There's a lot of room for it's almost like a skill you have to develop a little bit to get really good at touchless washing, and like the results can kind of depend on those skills. And I like the idea of not needing skills, you know. So like if it comes to a tire coating needing like some sort of experience or like level of skilled application, then I don't know. So you're just opening up the potential for drama. People having bad experiences, you know. I kind of like what this is doing though. It goes on really nice. Question is, how will this dry? So these are completely different roads. So I figured we'd use the gel on one whole wheel compared to the sprayables on the other wheel here. Then we can see them all in the same time. I feel like I'm using a lot of this gel though. I mean, I am. There's no question about it. I definitely am. I think it's important to load up your foam applicator and just keep spreading it around. Once it gets loaded up, I feel like it probably will be more efficient. Well, the gel is certainly a cleaner application, so I like that. It looks pretty good. All right, we got our industry standard up there. We got our own stuff with silicone. We've got our own stuff without silicone. Then we got our gel over there. I feel like the gel one's just a hair bit darker, maybe a little bit more glossy. So just like everything else, this one's gonna take some time. We're gonna have to just keep using this stuff and get a feel for it, but definitely let me know what your favorite tire shine is, and then I'll bring in some more, because I only have like a couple things to play with on the tire shine front. So I need to figure out what the bar is, you know, where's the level, where's the standard. We'll benefit from your input there. All right, I just did the other side here. So the driver's side, I was using this industry standard. I think this one is my favorite. It's water-based, so that means you can cut it. I think this is cut down maybe, I have 10:1 on here, but that doesn't seem right. But that's really good, because that means you get a lot of bang for your buck. And I like that there's no silicone in it, because it also streamlines the price tag of the product. So this stuff went on very easy, and I feel like it dries nicely. Maybe this one's the winner so far. I like this one. So I like it better than my own prototypes. My goal is to get to a place where I am very happy with our own offering. It's very unlikely to land there right off the bat. You know, it's gonna take a little while. Make this mud flap look a little cleaner. So now that this wheel is dry, man, I am seeing a lot here. So like the industry standard that I'm kind of gauging off of right now looks nice and consistent, nice kind of matte finish to it. I like that a lot. And then you look at my silicone free attempt down here, inconsistent. My other silicone free option was a little better, and then our mods to our current formula did okay. So I'm a little bit glossier, but in an inconsistent kind of way. It's certainly okay. Ours looks pretty good right there. I think I just really like that water-based one that I was playing with. So the gel over here is looking pretty nice. The gel goes on nice and clean. I might play with the gel and see, because that one's also water-based. Maybe we can try watering that down. I'll play with that more in the future. All right, the owner Patrick's here. Let's see what he thinks. Come on in, man. What do you think?
Wow. that red in the aluminum and the chrome is just popping.
Dude, it is, right?
Whatever you did, you know, like I said, I use your steps 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But that looks meticulous, for crying out loud.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Well, it's a lot to do with you guys too, you know. This is like, when I was cleaning this thing up, it was not hard. It cleaned up nice and easy. I could tell you had some protection on this thing. I was curious, you must have a ceramic coating on this, right?
Yes, Matthew had some friend of his put the ceramic coating on it.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say it cleaned up easy.
Yeah, rinse is nice. I mean, I haven't done anything to the trailer. The trailer just normally gets washed, but
okay.
I mean, with this last weekend of winter weather and salt, it just
hammered the thing.
Yeah, just crazy getting dirty.
What do you guys put on your tires? I feel like there's some kind of a coating on there or something.
So what I put on the tires is Mop and Glow.
Really?
It's a trick of old truckers, is Mop and Glow.
I've heard about that trick.
And you don't get any overspray from it afterwards. It just basically it darkens the tire. It doesn't make them glossy.
Okay.
And it's funny. It works. If your tires are clean, it works really nice.
Yeah.
If your tires are dirty, you can turn them like that brown.
Oh, they'll turn brown if they're dirty?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like if you keep them nice, and if you do it over and over again, it kind of like almost keeps that base.
Okay.
And I learned it from, there's a YouTuber called the Boston Trucker.
Oh yeah, Mike Gaffin, yeah.
Yes.
I think he's the one I saw doing that.
And he does Mop and Glow, and that's where I kind of learned it from. You know, you get little things from people here and there.
For sure. Well, I'm gonna get some Mop and Glow, that's for sure. I gotta get that, because it looks good.
Yeah, that looks nice.
I wanna play with that.
I mean, that looks the stack looks like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I used the new, so here's what I did. I used only prototypes on this thing. So I used a mix of industry standards, so like very popular interior cleaners and all-purpose cleaners and salt neutralizers and everything. And I used my own prototypes along with them, and just trying to see where I stand in the industry with some new stuff. So one of them was metal polish. So I hit up that stack, I hit all the tanks, I hit the wheels with a new sprayable metal polish. You know how you'd normally have your metal polish, you put it on a microfiber and then wipe it around. This, you spray it straight on and then start wiping.
And then wipe it down. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a little bit easier. You're speeding it up, but it's a finish cut. It's not a heavy cut.
Right. Okay.
So I stained your aluminum on one of your tanks so that I could fix it.
Okay.
So I figured while I'm
good.
polishing anyway, I'll hit everything. So
Yeah,
I
it
did all
looks
of that. We got the interior real good, and I sprayed our salt neutralizer prototype underneath, and I left it there because it has a rust inhibitor built in. So the whole underneath's been coated with rust inhibitor, and I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah. I did not use my snake oil coating on it because I figured it was so slippery anyway, but you have snake oil anyway, right?
Yes.
So you can coat the trailer
Oh,
down
absolutely.
with that. All right.
Yeah.
That should do something for you. Let's see the inside of this thing. Pop in over there. Let's see what you think of this. The inside cleaned up pretty good.
Oh, wow. Wow. I mean, you just clean the floor right up and...
Oh, yeah. No, we got it.
It's, you know, and it stinks, you know, working construction and other sites, it'll end up getting muddy. And
yeah.
But I mean, if you keep, like, the inside wasn't bad to begin with. It's
no,
just,
no.
you know, keeping it.
You guys keep up with it.
If you keep it up with it, it's pretty good, you know?
This thing actually, it cleans really nice. I mean, I used an anti-static glass cleaner on here.
Oh, wow.
That was fun. We used all kinds. I used a bunch of interior cleaners that are over $100 a gallon. Just playing with them, getting a feel for them.
Oh, wow.
It was interesting, you know, just trying to see where my stuff kind of lands in the industry.
That looks great.
I used some new prototypes, so there's probably a mix of smells in here because,
right, no,
I used 11 different scented interior cleaners in here as I was experimenting, but
no, it looks
we
great.
Managed to get it. You know, I didn't go super deep with it. It didn't need much, honestly. It was, you know, you guys keep up. If you keep it up with
it, you're not fighting with it all the time.
And such a cool truck, man. I love this truck.
Yeah,
this thing is beautiful. It's such a cool style.
This is great.
You know, and when you sit inside of it, especially all cleaned up like this, it just feels good. You know, you got a very nice view coming out the windshield here with the wraparound on the glass.
And it's great. You know, you're a local company. You got history with my dad's company.
Yeah.
It's nice to just come up here and you're close and...
Yeah, that was pretty cool to team up. So now we got to hit up that cab over.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that.
As soon as that thing's free, I'll make my schedule work.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll make it work.
I can't tell you enough how amazing that looks.
That's cool. I'm glad you like it. I'll get the bed. That'd be a pretty cool shot, man. How about it?
Bob, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, likewise,
I mean,
man.
like I said, I'll have you touch base with you.
Well, it's cool to deal with you guys still, man. 40-something years later.
We'll be in touch.
Have a good one, man. Take care.